All right, so we are back after this was like a four, like we missed four
Or
weeks. We missed 4 weeks of fantasy football. It's
a
been a
little
while.
hiatus.
Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. We're back though. It's a big, a lot has happened since y'all have last talked to us. So we're gonna get into the stories from last week and then show y'all where we're at in the league. It's week 14, the last week of the regular season. So it's
Big
big
week.
updates. Yeah, and really big week for everyone.
Let's get into those stories of the week first. I think obviously the biggest of the week was arguably the game of the season so far. I mean, the
Right.
Niners, Eagles, two of the biggest, arguably the best teams of the year so far. And the Niners kind of just steamrolled them. I mean, after those first few drives, they didn't really get anything going, but then they scored like touchdowns on like 6 straight drives, something crazy like that against the Eagles, who just beat the Bills and Chiefs. I mean, pretty impressive. I think they've kind of solidified themselves as the best in the NFC, at least for now.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But it's Eagles Cowboys this week, so that'll kind of determine who's in that second spot, I think. But then, yeah, if you want to
Yeah,
take
and
the
then
Chiefs one,
the Chiefs, I mean, really, I think just as much as the Chiefs losing this one, Jordan Love has been like on fire the last few games, and that Green Bay defense, they were on Mahomes. His receiving core, I think more consistently just throughout this year has also shown he's really missing Tyreek Hill, like without having that top receiving option. Kelsey's always going to be Kelsey, but the offense is definitely getting stifled more consistently this season. And then they just ran into a Green Bay team that has a little bit of momentum right now. So definitely we've seen the Chiefs, I feel like the last few years in a position where it seems like they're declining a little bit, and then they get to the postseason and Mahomes just goes off again. So
pulls off the magic.
it's like, so we see, still got a few weeks left in the regular season. We'll see how they finish things out, but definitely concerned for the Chiefs, just how their offense has been looking some of these weeks.
Definitely. And you make a great point. I mean, the Packers just beat arguably two of the best teams in the NFL, in the Lions, the Chiefs. Back-to-back weeks. Pretty impressive. Yeah, that's honestly, and after we get into this last game, the Bengals Jaguars, there's no clear favorite in the AFC anymore. I kind of
No,
thought the Jaguars would solidify themselves on Monday Night Football as the team to beat in the AFC, with the Chiefs losing, and Ravens, I mean, not really. I don't think they played this week, but either way, I think the Jaguars were my favorite, and then Trevor Lawrence goes down with an injury. I mean, it kind of opens back up the race for the AFC. I think it kind of pushes the Chiefs back up to the top, and I think it's kind of between the Chiefs and Ravens right now. But
yeah,
that game was surprising. I thought the Bengals were done, but Jake Browning he
I
cooked.
know.
300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He made it seem like it was Joe Burrow, like
I know
nothing
he's
different. But kind of surprising stuff there.
yeah. And then unfortunately for us, since we've last talked, the Commanders have. I don't know if we won a game since the last time that we did a check yet. And I feel like it's
We got
been
killed by the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. We got
we
killed
lost to the
by the
Giants.
Dolphins.
The Patriots was the last win. I feel like that was the last game we talked about.
Oh, we had a bye too. Or
Yeah,
no, we have a bye this week. Sorry,
but
bye
yeah,
this week. Lost
but
to the Giants. DeVito again. Lost to the Seahawks. Yeah, we've lost 4 in a row. So
yeah, it's been
not great stuff.
brutal for us right
Going into
now,
the bye.
and the Dolphins game was definitely the worst of the bunch. Tyreek went ham. It was there's nothing you can really do about that as a Commanders fan. And at this point, it's kind of sad that we've gotten to this point. It's just like a waiting game. Like, we know Rivera's going to get fired. We know they're going to it's just kind of waiting until the offseason to see what happens and to reset for the year. So disappointing, but
Exactly.
it is what it is. Nothing we're not used to at this point. So
Exactly.
just
I want to keep losing at this point. So get a better draft pick and get some more help for the team, because
it's tanking time.
we need it. We need it. All right. Let's get back to fantasy.
Big
News.
move.
I mean, really the only news we've had all year in terms of trades.
I know.
We had a silly Tank Bigsby for
Gibson.
Antonio Gibson trade, but until that, this has been the trade of the season, if you want to say that. It involved me and 𝙁𝙤𝙣. 𝙁𝙤𝙣 was kind of reeling and kind of, I don't want to put these words out there, but desperate for a win against Anthony.
He was.
Um, and he was desperate to make a move before the trade deadline. So everybody was. I mean, it's getting down to the point where if you don't make a move, it could be it. But as you can see, the trade deadline just passed. So this was the final move. I kind of made a move looking for the postseason. As I basically secured a bye or hopefully the number one seed, but the bye at least. And I essentially upgrade my QB, Justin Herbert, for Josh Allen. The Chargers' offense has been pretty shaky in my eyes. Even the Bills too, but they at least have been getting back slightly on track, and they need wins now. So we'll see what happens there. 𝙁𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙩, arguably one of the best rookie tight ends, or probably right behind Laporta.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, honestly, this year. So I'm excited to see how he does. And that connection with Josh Allen, that's just extra points. I haven't had a good tight end all year, so maybe this could fill that void. And then I gave up Mike Evans. That kind of hurt the most in this trade. I think that was arguably one of the most valuable pieces of this trade. I feel a little bit more thin at receiver, which I don't love, but I think DJ Moore with Justin Fields back has kind of proven he can be a number 2, number 1 receiver most of the time. And I'm going to bank on that and upgrade Sutton to that flex spot. And he's been kind of proving that he can score with Russell Wilson. So pretty much just banking on my receiver depth at this point to boost my quarterback play, which I think is the most important position in the game. And Josh Allen at this point is the number 1 player in fantasy. So I think it's an all-around good move for me. Risky move, but good move. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, I mean, we discussed it a little bit afterwards, and I feel like it's a pretty even trade, but it was definitely, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, an even trade. But 𝙁𝙤𝙣 was definitely going all in on winning against me in week 13, I guess. So or was it week 12 or
week 13? But
yeah,
it's
week
important
13,
to note the desperation in this trade comes from the fact that the Bills are on bye, so he didn't have Josh Allen or 𝙁𝙁𝙪𝙣𝙤𝙪,
yes.
and all my guys were playing, and essentially he was giving me players on bye. So thinking that I would lose too, not that it really mattered, and I still ended up winning. But aside from and he ended up losing, which ended up spoiling some secrets here. But we'll dive into the impact of this trade shortly. Actually, pretty soon.
Yeah,
But as you can see, we missed the last 4 weeks, so we'll kind of go through what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I played Alex Artelli, who I think has arguably one of the best teams in the league, but the worst record in the league, unfortunately. He dropped 140 on me, killed me. But since then, I've been kind of holding my own. I obviously this past week didn't have like my full team in play, but I managed 100 points, which I'll take. And the other weeks I dropped over 125. So good to get back on track with a few wins and knock Matt, Levin, and 𝙁𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙩 and Joel down a little bit. Love to see that. So yeah. What about you, Anthony? How are your 4 weeks?
Yeah, I would say we both finished 3-1 over our 4
We
weeks.
balled. We balled.
Yeah. So I don't know why I have 𝙁𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙩 beating Ian. That's 𝙁𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙩 beat me week 11. But other than that, that was my only L. I have the last 2 weeks in particular, 140 back-to-back weeks. My team is like really starting to hit its stride. Kyren Williams coming back has been the best thing ever for me. He is like definitely the lead back again in that offense, and they are getting him touches. They're getting him in touchdowns, which is exactly what I need. Jonathan Taylor going down to injury was super frustrating for me, but I was lucky enough to pick up Zach Moss before that happened. I was dropping guys, picking guys up, and Zach Moss was available. I figured I'd get the depth on there just in case, and it ended up working out for me. So I have, lead back still, but not as comfortable as Jonathan Taylor. And especially last week, Sam Laporta. I mean, he's definitely been my pick of the season. Nico Collins, the fact that I got Nico Collins and Sam Laporta, drafted them both so late, and they've been such high-level starters for me throughout the season.
Steals.
This is, I feel like, been one of my best drafts just off the basis of getting those two. So yeah, I felt good about my stretch of games, and I mean, we'll get into the standings later, but I'm feeling comfortable, So good things coming, and we can just get into our most recent matchup. So for me, all right, so messed up the slide, but we fixed it. Week 13 against Adwin, I got a huge victory. He made all this big trade. Immediately before the game started, he sent a Tom Brady sitting on the bench. He said, playoff run starts now. Playoff run starts now.
It's cringy thinking about it now.
Immediately, Ramondre hurt. Tank Dell hurt. Amari Cooper also got hurt. His team did garbage. I mean, Mike Evans really saved him. Outside of Mike Evans and
my boy.
Like, exactly. Her player was his best one by far, and his defensive kicker. Nothing else did well for him in that game.
To be fair, though, Justin Herbert kind of screwed him over, but
Herbert did. But even if Herbert did well, it wouldn't have mattered. My team, another 140-pointer. Laporta is like such a dog. Nico Collins, dog. Kieran Williams back, played awesome. ETN has been annoying me the last few weeks, but he pulled through. He did all right. Chuba Hubbard on my bench, he got 2 touchdowns, so it's like, okay, maybe I can throw him into my flex if I want to. I do feel like I'm lacking receiver depth. That was one of the things I was trying to kind of aggressively trade for, just to try to upgrade at receiver, because Waddle has been pretty inconsistent as well. But we'll get into it for this next week. Justin Jefferson is coming out of the IR. They're playing again this week against Las Vegas. He's back and available. And, the quarterback situation in Minnesota is iffy. So really, interested to see how this week goes. But Justin Jefferson, I think, could really elevate my team again to a different level, especially at a point where everyone else is getting healthy and I'm starting to have some really good results.
Yeah, that's scary. I completely forgot about him being on your team.
I know. He's almost back. It's time. It's going to happen.
Definitely. And then,
and then your matchup, you got a dub as well.
Another dub here. This one I wasn't really expecting. I mean, I gave away a lot of my team. I had players on bye, DJ Moore on bye. I literally picked up Josh Downs like 10 minutes before kickoff. Played Freiermuth because I had no other options there. Trade away Taysom Hill. And, I mean, the boys came through. I mean, I'm more impressed with Joe Mixon that he put up numbers in the absence of Joe Burrow. But, I mean, honestly, that offense kind of came through, and I hope they keep doing that, because if Mixon can keep it up, that'd be huge for me. McCaffrey, another big week. A.J. Brown, kind of decent week for him. Courtland Sutton doing what he's been doing. I really need production at tight end, and that's why I made the move. And same with quarterback. And Kyler Murray and Pat Freiermuth didn't really produce much, and that's why I'm glad I made this move. So, I mean, these are my backups in the first place, so glad to see what my new players will bring. And Yusuke kind of falling off at the wrong time. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, and especially for him, Christian Kirk has, pretty sure he just had surgery, or he has to have surgery now. So that's going to be a significant loss to his team. He's been having some inconsistency with the Rams receivers. So see how he goes from there.
Definitely. Then scores around the league.
Yeah, I would say obviously.
Dub.
Yeah, I got a dub. We see Alex picking up a dub against Matt Cohen, which is a pretty significant result. Cohen has been neck and neck with Jacob the whole year, within one game up until that point. We'll get into the standings, but pretty significant impact of this. We also see Joel picking up a win against Ian, and then Matt L beating Sammy. So a lot of 6 and 7 teams now, a few 5 and 8 teams that are vying for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, it'll be tight this week.
And yeah, going into the standings, I mean, how does it feel? What does that little asterisk next to your name mean? Can you tell me? What does that signify? I'm not really sure. What is it?
It means bye secured. And I honestly think it's also number 1 seed secured, since you only have number 1 week left in the season, and Matt and Joel won't be able to catch me. So, from fighting to not get last place to having first place secured going into the last week of the season, you really got to applaud everyone on the coaching staff. Like, I mean, put a lot more effort in this year. Not that I didn't put an effort in last year, but just stuck to my gut this year and it paid off, I'm proud of everyone that believed in me,
Yeah.
especially Matt Levin. He was a really big supporter. Gave me those 2 dubs, huge for the season. Wouldn't have been here without those. So
No.
Thank you, Matt. But yeah, I think it's important to note that Alex eliminated, even though he has one of the highest scores in the league, like fifth, I think fifth highest, and a few other playoff spots secured, including yourself. How does that feel after last year too?
I think overall, this is just, we went from last year being two of the worst, the 2 worst teams in the league to, and ESPN disrespected us at the start of the season with their projections.
Look at that,
as well.
10-9. 10-9.
They thought we were going to do it again, but we did put in the work. Most improved teams. We're not here to be last place. We knew we were going to improve this year. We came back better, and
we came back for you guys.
Exactly. Look,
not just for ourselves.
Exactly. I think more than I want to applaud the coaching staff of Jake from State Farm, but we got to applaud the podcast for season 2. We had to come back better. I had to clinch a playoff spot. I wasn't really an option, so clinch that. Don't have to worry too much about this week. I'm not able to secure a bye because Matt and Joel are playing each other this week, so it kind of is what it is. I do think it's interesting to note that fraudulent Joel could secure a bye week. That would be one of the biggest tragedies of the season if he can do that.
That would just stick to his name. I mean, we've been calling him that all year. The fact that he's 8-5 shocks me. I mean,
crazy.
His points for is barely better than
Alex has more than him.
The 3 of the worst teams. Yeah, Alex, that says enough right there. Like,
Alex and Adwin both have more than him.
And he could have a bye. The guy in last place has more points scored, and you're about to get a bye.
It's crazy.
I understand Alex's frustration with this season. I full-heartedly understand that. And then he just beats Matt Cohen out of nowhere. Like, of course, right when he's eliminated. Hate to see it, but we move on.
Yeah, well, obviously, yes, last week of the regular season now. I guess the playoff bracket. So how it's shaping up right now, obviously the bye week headed to you. You're looking comfy. We're on the same side of the bracket at the moment, so we'll see. That might be a big semifinal clash. I don't know. We'll see.
I guess it really comes down to that points for then, right? With you and the loser of the Matt Cohen Joel match.
Yeah. I do at the moment. I have more points than both of them. So I'm in a position.
Not Matt.
Or not Cohen. So I kind of, so I need, it would be nice if Cohen just beats Joel, and then I can hop over fraudulent Joel and
to that 3 spot.
I would gladly take that 3 spot from him. There's a scenario where I win and Joel loses, and I don't know. I need that 3 spot. I would love to end up getting like an Adwin again. Sorry, Adwin. Maybe an Adwin. Yusuke's team has been a little iffy. I could take a Yusuke. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that matchup, but I don't know. I'm hoping for an Adwin or an Ian. Honestly, that's where I'm hoping to fall if I get the.
A little disrespectful calling your shot, but can't blame you there, man.
But it's really like the seeding doesn't matter. It's really all about a matchup for this first week. So we'll see how it goes. Justin Jefferson's probably the biggest X factor for me, though, seeing how my playoffs end up shaping out.
Yeah. Honestly, just looking at this bracket, it's really nice. I hate to just brag, but I kind of have 2 bye weeks right now. Like this week doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm fighting for most points for, so obviously I'm not going to bench starters or anything. Even though Adwin was asking, unfortunately I can't Adwin. Yeah, 2 bye weeks. I might not even watch football on Sunday. Just I'll still be watching. But it's a nice feeling knowing you're safe. Safe for now, at least.
Yeah. Getting into our final matchups of the regular season, I have Alex who's, again, even though he's last place, his team is stacked, and he's been dropping a lot of points consistently. He's projected for more than me again this week. I do feel, I'm, not that much behind. 7 points, in fantasy. That's not that far away. Eckler being projected for 15 is like kind of whatever to me. So I feel generally good about my matchup. But again, the biggest thing I'm testing out this week, it doesn't really mean that much because I've already clinched, but can Justin Jefferson be a viable option for me going forward? Like, do I feel comfortable just starting him as my wide receiver too? Like, I could ideally.
You should. I feel like you should.
I should. And ideally for me, I'm benching Waddle. Waddle has just been such a disappointment for me, and especially with Tank Dell, unfortunate injury, rest in peace to his season, but Nico Collins is now like his value is boosted in that offense. If I can just have him and Justin Jefferson, I can put in another running back. I can put in Zach Moss. If Hubbard is going to keep on being what he like, I can put Hubbard or Zach Moss / Jonathan Taylor in there, and I'm feeling great about my team.
It's a scary team. It's a scary team.
So Justin Jefferson's performance this week, how their quarterback play is this week, is really going to be the biggest X factor for me for the remainder of this season. I would be a lot more comfortable if Kirk Cousins was playing. It's not the case. Josh Dobbs was not great in their last game before the bye. So really that's the biggest thing to see about. But other than that, I'm safe. We clinched already. So it doesn't really matter.
Oh, safe, baby. Let's go. And you're playing last place team. So, should be a free win, but he's not really last place. Let's be real. Yeah. Looking at my matchup, it kind of looks like it. Besides Mike Evans, the Mike Evans part of the deal, it kind of looks like I won that trade. It sucks losing Mike Evans, but we'll see how Josh Allen does. But seeing that number one next to McCaffrey and Josh Allen feels good. I'm projected to win by 14. This is my full team now, like full starting lineup, and I'm excited to see like what they can really put up. Like my team's been averaging around 120, 125. I want to see if they can like elevate that play, especially going in the playoffs. Not that it really matters, but I want to see the team do well. So just going to root for that. Really not much on the line this week, as I said, but there's a lot on the line for 𝙁𝙤𝙣. So if he can somehow pull off this dub, props to him. But maybe he'll make the playoffs. We'll see.
Maybe Zeke is going to have a comeback week and is going to, pull out, 3 touchdowns, something crazy. He's going to turn back the clock. No, I don't know. 𝙁𝙤𝙣's in a rough spot this week for sure. Really, and now that Mike Evans trade it's coming right back to him. Now he has to face Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid, and like that might be what ends his season. So we'll.
That would be very unfortunate for the script writers, whoever did that to him. But we will see this week.
Yeah.
Finally, some over-unders for y'all.
I know. We're a few weeks late, but the last ones we did were week 10, and it was a pretty even. The only one that we were not aligned on was DJ Moore. I went for the under there. I had a little bit of thought I'd, talk that one out a little bit more, and I got to under. I was correct on that one. Everything else, though, we were spot on. So we're just like, we just know what we're talking about. We disrespected Saquon against the Cowboys, and that was totally correct. Jacob kind of deserves a bonus point because he said Saquon was
low key.
I said he'll get like 12 points, and you were like 8, and he got 6.
And he got 6. 6. We were talking smack on him. Like, thank God he just went under. Let's be happy about that. If he went over, we would have to cancel this podcast. So
I know that.
Yeah,
that would have been an all-time.
We put a lot on him.
That would have been an all-time bad take for us, but we doubled and tripled down, and it just shows you everything about the podcast.
This year's different.
This year, it's different.
A lot better. But yeah, let's look at the score added up now. 19-19. You caught up, man.
I was talking about it. I had to catch up. I had to, just put myself in a position to, I kept, just getting one back at a time, and now We're finally
Creeped
tied
up
for the
on me.
last week of the regular season, and this is pretty significant. I feel like this. I guess we'll probably end up doing it in the postseason as well, but still, this is gonna be interesting to see how this goes.
This will be for the regular season title at the very least.
Yeah.
For the over-unders. You want to take the lead on this one? Your boy Justin Jefferson here?
Yeah, I was like, I'll take the lead on this one. Again, I messed up the stupid. He's projected for 12.9 points this week, not 10.2. So we're just going to pretend that says 12.9. I think he's going to get, I think he's going to go under 12.9. I honestly probably could see him getting around 10.2 points or something like that. I think he's practicing fully this week, so it seems like he's back to full strength. I don't think there'll be any type of snap count or any limits to his usage in the offense, but quarterback situation is still a little iffy. He hasn't played with any of those guys. I think he's going to need time to just get back into that offense and to readjust to what that offense is going to look like with him in it. So I'm going to go under 12.9 points here. What do you think about Jefferson?
It's a tough one. I mean, he's been out for a while, but I mean, he's a bona fide superstar. He's arguably the best receiver in the league, and I just don't see how you don't get him involved right away, and especially in a game that you need to win. It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be right around that 10, 11 if he doesn't hit it, or it's going to be like 12, 13 if he does hit it. But I think I'm going to take the over here. I think he somehow is connected with Dobbs early, and all he really needs to hit that is a touchdown, in my opinion. And he can do that, get the yards and receptions. So I'm going to take the over there and hopefully retake my lead over Anthony.
All right, well,
and then
we'll see how.
Love.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is an interesting one. Against the Giants, 16.9 points is like an interesting spot for a quarterback because it's, the way he's been playing recently, that's definitely like achievable, but how far over is he going to go from that? You can never really tell. What do you think about this one?
You make a great point, and the Giants defense it's underrated. It's a decent defense. I'm going to stick with the hot hand. Jordan Love's been cooking. He cooked against the Lions. He cooked against the Chiefs. Chiefs have one of the best defenses in the league, arguably. And yes, players got hurt, but I trust Jordan Love right now. He's been playing really well. 16.9 really isn't that much for a quarterback. I think he gets a few touchdowns like he has the last few weeks and gets 200, 300 yards. And they should beat the Giants. So he'll do that if they win.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the over there. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the over makes sense here. I mean, realistically, Green Bay's just backfield has not been – it's been really underwhelming this year. Aaron Jones has been injured a lot of the time. A.J. Dillon, has done some things here and there, but no real consistency from either one of them. They're finding consistency in the passing game, and I don't really see them straying away from that. They have a set of some good young weapons, and Jordan Love has been finding them. So I definitely see him. He would need like 2 touchdowns, probably 200 yards or whatever to hit the over on this, and I see him getting that. The turnovers are the only thing. It's like annoying. He might throw like an interception or something, lose a fumble, and then he goes under it. But I see him fairly comfortably being able to get over this one.
Yeah. Same page there. And now these ones will be tricky. These were part of the deal that we just talked about with me and Adwin. And now we play each other. So we had to pick them, obviously. With Josh Allen, 21.3 against the Chiefs. I really don't know what's going to come of this game. I think the Bills really need a win more than anything. And Chiefs don't lose twice. That's kind of their thing. The Bills have had their fair share of difficulties against them, but I kind of think they're going to get back on top, get back on the right track. I think 21.3, if the Bills are able to win, they will score 34 touchdowns, and Josh Allen will be responsible for all of them likely. The thing that worries me is Kansas City's defense is good. It's been better this year, and if he throws a few picks, that might bring him down from this number. So I'm a little worried about that, but he's been averaging about 23 a game, so I'm going to take the over here in a must-win game for the Bills for Josh Allen. What about you?
I do agree this is a must-win game for the Bills, and I do probably see them winning, but I'm gonna go for the under here. I feel like this is gonna be very similar to the Kansas City Miami game earlier this year. Like I think this is gonna be a slower.
Defensive battle.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being more of a defensive battle. We've seen the Chiefs; they've kind of struggled with that. Their receiving core just isn't as strong. They aren't able to be as consistent. And Mahomes, when they know, Kelsey is the main guy, we got to focus in on him. And maybe Rashad Brees or some random assortment of guys is going to end up doing something. But generally, the Bills have a good defense. I think they're going to be able to really stifle what KC is doing. But Buffalo hasn't been super consistent either. So I feel like this is going to be a slow game. They're away at Arrowhead. That's always difficult. Taylor Swift might be there. So, you never know. There's going to be a lot of factors in play here. And I see it being a slower game. I still think Buffalo probably wins, but I think Josh Allen is going to end up being a little bit more around like a 17, 18 point mark. Unless, of course, the only X factor there is maybe if he's running more. If he ends up getting a rushing touchdown or something,
That's true.
I could see that just popping up, but I think he goes under here. That's going to be my pick.
All right. And then you want to take this last one?
Mike Evans against Atlanta. I mean, Tampa Bay's offense is just so weird. I don't really know how to gauge it, but I do think Atlanta is not a good football team. So I'm going to go with the over here for Mike Evans. Atlanta's just been fumbling a lot recently. I don't really think their offense is that potent, and because of that, I think Tampa Bay is going to have the ball a lot. I think Baker is going to have opportunities to get the ball out to his receivers, and Mike Evans has been his top target all of this season. So feel pretty confident on the over with this one.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more. He's been averaging 15 a game, and Atlanta is not as good as their record is. Even their record's like 6-6, if it is that. I mean, this is again another must-win game. This is kind of for the division for Tampa Bay if they want to keep fighting. So I think they'll get Mike Evans involved, and I think I have a problem. I picked over for all four of these guys, and let's just hope they all go over. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I was saying we were different on two of these ones now, so we could end up tied still, but this could also be a swing week. So we'll see what happens for the regular season over under title. So
we will see. Check back in next week.
Yeah, we'll tally that up next week. But yeah, that's all we got. We're glad we were back. We'll see y'all for the playoffs. Both of us are in it this year, so we're going to have some type of playoff content, maybe playoff guests, and yeah.
Definitely. See y'all soon. Thanks for watching.